A very good morning, 10th standard, for your online teaching learning session, Science and Technology B lecture. Last time we have started with lesson number 10, Disaster Management. Today we shall continue with the remaining lesson. So let's begin. The nature and scope of disaster. Now, what is the nature? How intense the disaster is? It is it natural? It is man-made? Is it predicted? Can it be predicted, or it would be sudden? What measures can be taken? Yes, we'll be studying that. So, there are 6 types of phases: pre-disaster phase, before the disaster; warning phase, wherein the disaster is predicted and people are being made aware of and warned. Then emergency phase, rehabilitation phase. We all know rehab centers wherein the people are shifted to a safe and secure place. Recovery phase, how to recover after the disaster. And reconstruction phase. Now, main 3 aspects which are very important for common citizens to understand, okay, wherein the common citizens can play a important role and they can contribute themselves, are 3, that is phase of emergency, transitional phase and reconstruction phase. We'll be looking into them one by one. The phase of emergency. If timely and rapid action is taken, students, during these phase, maximum lives can be saved. Now, phase of emergency. Now, the disaster has occurred. So, what can be done? If the citizens are aware of what can be done and what should be done, they can contribute in saving maximum lives, saving or preventing the damage of properties. Yes, so search and rescue operations come under this phase. Now, as soon as the disaster has taken place, so what happens is, by the time the government sends their forces, the police is into action, they might take time to reach at times. Now, in the rains or flood areas, it takes time for the municipality workers also to reach for the help. So, in that case, what can be done is the common people of that particular area, the nearby citizens, the nearby people, can help in the rescue operations. If a building has been collapsed due to earthquake or just that incident which occurred in Bhiwandi recently, so in that case, there are people who are under the debris, okay, stuck under the debris, but they might be alive. So by that time, the people can try to save them, remove them out. Then medical assistance, the basic first aid we all have, first aid kit we all have at our homes, right? So we can try to use that first aid kits and help the needy people. Yes, restoring communication services. Now this can be done by a particular department that has been allotted this work, that is mobile services. Now you might have heard during the cyclone, earthquakes and many such natural disasters which are so terrific, the communication services are hampered, they have been shut down because the mobile towers, the electricity wires, the electricity poles, they even fall off. Yes, then removing the people from affected area, that is shifting them from that particular place to different areas. You might have seen the extreme floods in Assam recently. So how the people were shifted. So boats were there even in the coastal areas. Before the when there is a warning issued, the people living on the coastal areas are immediately shifted to a safer places. And also, gravity of disaster can be estimated. Now, what is gravity of disaster? How intense this disaster was, how worst, how badly it would impact the people. Okay. Next, we have transitional phase. Now, here the disaster subsides. Okay, after the disaster, what is to be done? The work of transitional phase starts. The main concern in this phase is rehabilitation work for the affected and displaced people. Now, you might have heard when there were Kerala floods around 2 years ago, approximately 2 years ago, the government pleaded to people, those who could afford to, donate money, food grains, clothes, essential uh, things like medical kits, then sanitary napkins for females. Yes, so these all were requested people to donate, and that was made available to people of Kerala, because a huge loss was being experienced in that particular state. Government also does on their part, but it also urges the people to contribute. Okay, so that is the one thing that happens. Then clearing of debris is included. Clearing of the debris, that is the uh, parts of the building or the poles, trees that have been fallen off, if the rickshaws, vehicles, any vehicles have been damaged off, etc. So that debris is clear off. Restoring water supply. Now if there is earthquake, the water pipeline, the underground water pipeline may also be damaged or it might have burst. So restoring that. Then repairing roads during the earthquake, even cyclones in many cases, if it is quite extreme, so even the roads we have seen are broken. Okay, so these all comes under the transitional phase. Help from different voluntary and government institution is also taken. Monetary provision and all other essential commodities, like I told you. Even during the just let's take example of this pandemic, leaving all other examples experiences aside. Even during the pandemic, people were the government was urging people to contribute to their best, and how much ever they can help the needy and the uh, poor people, you can say, who lost their jobs. You might have heard of PM Cares Fund. Other than that also, people were helping the roadside beggars by feeding food, providing them with clothes, blankets, etc. So this is also one kind of disaster, only just remember that. Permanent means of livelihood is given to the people so that their mental and emotional stress is reduced. Now many people those have their own business, they run small scale industries or small scale business at their homes or nearby areas where they live. So maybe because of the disasters, their companies, their industries, or their farm, or whatever business they undertook might have destroyed. So all of a sudden their livelihood is totally lost and they are left out with nothing. So in such cases also help is provided to the victim, so at least their mental stress, they do not go in depression and emotionally break down, and so victims are rehabilitated. So this all comes under the transitional phase. So just remember rehabilitation of victims. Third is reconstruction phase. Now reconstruction is what, which first of all, this is a very highly complicated phase, because the buildings that have got damaged, the houses that might have washed off, the cloud burst in Leh Ladakh, if you remember, or recently the one happened in Uttarakhand, on which the movie is also made, Kedarnath. You might have seen, just within a blink of eye, everything was just submerged in the water. The houses were breaking down. Yes, it was so devastating to see that. So just imagine the pain of the people who are losing their houses, their families in front of their eyes, and they're unable to do anything, right? So providing them with the houses, if the buildings are damaged, reconstructing the buildings, this all is a very difficult task, as it consumes more time. Yes or no? Then restoration of facilities like roads and water supply. Farming practices, yes, the farms are destroyed, the animals in the farms die many a times, they get washed away with the water. Okay, so this all comes under the reconstruction phase. Very gradual phase, like I told you, that it is very slow phase. Obviously it will take time to bring back the things, to bring back the life back on track. Then, now we have always been hearing of disasters every now and then. Yes, the planet has experienced many natural disasters, students. Now, these disasters you might have not experienced, be thankful to God for that. But those have experienced, or whatever pictures or videos that we see on TV or your mobile phones, on social apps, I'm sure they break you also down, right? And these disasters always cause a huge loss. They are never good for people. They affect the economic progress, they affect the natural balance of the nature. Then what has happened is these increasing population, increase in needs, these are the problems, one of the problems that are somewhere indirectly or directly the reason for these disasters. Then instability arises in the country, economic inequality, racial and religious differences that leads to war. Yes, terrorism, we are very well aware. The 14 February 2019, the Pulwama attack, then before that the Uri attack, etc. Social differences amongst the people, then chemicals, production and use of chemicals. At times that is unintentional, like I told you, that is an accident, but then it also causes damage to, it causes loss of life. The Bhopal gas tragedy, the Chernobyl gas accident of Russia, the recent gas leakage in Vishakhapatnam. There were videos wherein the people traveling on road immediately after the gas leakage accident died on the spot. It was so harmful. As soon as they breathed in, they died. Okay, so radiation leakage, we are aware of this. Now, these disasters are so terrific, students, that they can actually wipe out the human race. Just remember this. They can affect genetic of a particular family, I can tell you. Then atomic energy plants. Once again, we need not go in detail. Okay, so disaster management is very, very important, not just for our forces to get trained, but also each and every individual citizen of the country, of the world, must be aware of the disaster management, students, because we can contribute a lot in saving the lives and the property, at times even preventing the disasters. Hence, it is very, very essential for all of us to understand this disasters and disaster management. Next is disaster management. Now, students, before starting with this, I'll just tell you all that many things in these lessons are repeated many times. So I would not go in detail again and again. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the live session. Otherwise, it is very logical and easy to understand. Just you need to read it once. Now, disasters may be minor, major, short time or long time. Okay, it might last for 3-4 days, a week. At times cyclone alerts are given, heavy rains alerts are given, that would last for 6 to 7 days, or even it might end up in one day. Then prevention of disasters or making arrangements is also very, very important. If disaster is predicted, preventive measures are being taken, and if you can avoid, prevention is basically you can avoid letting a disaster happen. Like in building collapse in Bhiwandi, it is said that the people were not informed prior, but the the builder was made aware by the municipality that the people need to vacate the building. If he might have taken the measures and appropriate measures and informed the people prior, then at least the loss of lives would have been prevented, right? So these things are very essential, and like I said you that the relationship between the disaster management and public participation is very, very close. Then what else? Now, as I said you that disaster is a very fast process, so obviously there are few questions that come into our mind. What shall we do in such situation? How can we protect ourselves, our belongings and animals? Yes or no? Okay. And before that, we have objectives of disaster management. Now, why this disaster management is necessary? What is the objective behind this disaster management? Studying this. To save the human line from disasters, to help them from moving from the place of disasters by rapid action. Okay, so these all we need to study. Then supply of essential commodities to the affected people. You might have seen also through with the help of Air Force, Then sometimes in the affected area, the flood affected area, the food packets are being given to them from aeroplane. Okay, they are thrown to the people because reaching there is not possible. So that is also one of the help. Then to bring back the conditions of affected people to normalcy, restoration, to rehabilitate the affected and displaced victim, to think and execute the protective measures in order to develop capability to face the disasters in future. Just when we had the cyclone alert in June, the coastal area of Maharashtra was put on alert, even Vasai Virar. So at these times, the coastal areas, the beaches, the sea is which is open to public, usually they are shut down. Then the NDRF, the police personnel, the coastal guard, the policemen, everyone is put on duty. Okay, so that to ensure that no common citizen is found wandering there without reason. And secondly, also the fishermen are the fisher community is also alerted prior to not venture into the sea. So these are some preventive measures that are being taken. And on our part, we can also try to not just unnecessarily move out of our houses when such disasters are being predicted. Just remember this one line: disasters are never planned, but losses due to it can be prevented in a planned manner. Okay, during the rainy season, the people are warned to not go to visit the waterfalls, visit the dams when there is excess rain, heavy rain, but still people try doing that and they lose their life, they get washed off. So such disasters can be prevented. Yes, so better think twice next time before taking any such step. See, disaster management is achieving or time to time improving the ability to face the disasters through scientific and careful observation and analysis of data. Now, institutes that study the climate, the weather, yes, the government and the private institutes, they keep on studying this. Why? To make people and the government aware if there is any disaster, if any natural calamity that is on its way, so that the preventive measures can be taken. And always, there is to learn from the previous disaster that we have missed out on. So next time you can improve in that particular area of working and preventing the disaster. Now that is divided into pre-disaster management and post-disaster management. Pre-disaster management includes complete preparation and planning to face any type of disaster. Basically, the rehab centers are kept ready, the schools, then the many companies, the colleges have been undertaken then by the government. Like, just take an example of this pandemic COVID. Many schools, colleges, even the Wankhede Stadium, these have been converted to temporary hospital beds. Hospital, or you can say the COVID center, wherein the beds have been put up and the medical staff is on duty because there was lack of place. So this is also a preventive measure, or not preventive measure, but it is planned to face this type of disaster, because it is just worsening day by day. The cases are increasing. So the government was very much aware that the cases are going to increase and we are going to fall short of place. Yes, fall short of beds. So that is why prior they kept on planning this and the places were taken by the government. Now, pre-disaster, identifying the pre-disaster area that the climate weather department makes us aware. Information about intensity of disaster and probable sites through predictive intensity maps and hazard maps. You might have always heard in the news channels that it is predicted that tomorrow and after tomorrow it's going to rain heavily, so people are requested to stay indoors. Then the cyclone is going to pass through this particular city at the speed of this at about XYZ timing. So what is this? This is the information about the disaster that is on its way. And intensity is also at times that it might cause this much loss. Yes, this because of this much speed, kilometer per hour speed, it might lash away the trees, the buildings, etc. and whatnot. So this is the pre-information that we get. Special training for disaster management, very, very essential. And last is awareness about disaster management among the general public through training program, mass media, etc. Now, even in schools, there are mock drills conducted. Then in the companies and various industries, government sectors, there are mock drills and training given to people if there is any disaster occurring at any point of time. So how will you save your life and your uh, dear ones? You might have seen in the schools, in the companies, even in many societies, there is inbuilt this fire brigade pipeline given. If fire breaks out, you just need to put on that alarm. Then steps, emergency exit steps are given. How you need to run off from there safely. Okay, so these are some awareness programs and measures that have been taken prior. Post disaster management. Now, once the disaster is done, disaster is occurred, it has gone. Now, what should be done? Providing necessary aid to victims, obviously. Then, how local people can actually participate and contribute in saving the lives. Yes, that also we have studied. Then, quick establishment of help centers, control centers. You might have seen. After the disasters or during the disaster only, the news channels keep on flashing the help centers number, that if you need to contact your if you need to get contact to your dear and near ones, your family members residing in that particular affected area, you can call on this particular number and ask for the information. Okay, so this help and control centers have been put up. Categorization of help material received and delivering to victims. Now, there might be people who might be in need of clothes, there might be who are in need of food, there might be females who are pregnant. Yes, so they might be needing to rest. So according to the victim, according to their needs, the material that is received, it is categorized and then delivered to that particular victim. Then last is being always prepared for disaster rescue. So these students, just by reading, once you understand this, and nowadays thankful to the media, the news channels, we get to know every information and how the rescue operations are underway. So that is very essential also, and very easy to understand and to gain the information how you can participate and contribute in the rescue operations. Next, we have the main aspects of disaster management cycle. Basically, what are the steps involved? Okay, so we'll be seeing one by one. First is preparation. Now, here the plan is prepared. How will the disaster destruction be minimized, or you can try your best to minimize the destruction that can occur? Like I told you, help centers, rehab centers are prepared prior to the disasters that is predicted. People are shifted, so at least loss of lives is prevented. Then redemption, that is plan for minimizing the damage to the society and the country. One step ahead at the country level. Preparedness. Here the plan is chalked out. It is planned that how will the forces get quick response from the general public and administration, how they can come in contact, and how together all can come and try to minimize the destruction and help in rescue measures. Impact of disaster. Now, preparedness is essential because anyway, during and after the disaster, there is a lot of panic situation being created, and hence the plans and the preparedness needs to be done prior. Now, impact, the intensity of various aspects that we are studying of disaster and disaster management are reviewed. Then response. Now, response to the disaster needs to be given immediately. Now, this factor is followed by the disaster strike in this cycle. Now, what responses will be given or made immediately after the disaster? What responses will be coming from the people? Resurgence. Now, this is an important link between the emergency measures and the national progress. Here, resurrection is a stage that is used for the welfare and the rehabilitation of the nation to bring back everything on track. Next, you have restoration, which is the last one. This is very important, like we studied previously. It is a link between the measures after the disaster and national development. This step is very, very useful as it be a progress for nation and rehabilitation. So these are the main aspects of the disaster management cycle. Next, we have structure of disaster management authority. Now, how's this disaster management unit system works all together? How many people are involved? What is their duties? Yes, so this all comes under the structure of disaster management authority. We all know that it's not just one or two person involved in controlling and preventing, coordinating all the disasters, its impacts, rehabilitation process, rescue operations. Okay, so we'll be seeing how this structure totally works. Authorities have been established at the level of government. Now, flowchart that you can see on your screen indicates the function of control coordination under the disaster management from national level to village level. As we all know that the disasters can occur at national level as well, and at times it is just at the village level or some city level. Yes, the other part of the country is not affected. And this Disaster Management Act 2005 has been passed in our country, and then this all was understood. Now just see the two yellow bars that you can see on either side. Organizations providing precautionary warning, other social private organizations. Now we know the climate and weather studying department, that is Indian Meteorological Department. About this we have studied in standard 9th students. Okay, the 9th lesson. So what happens is this climate and weather department, they understand, they keep on studying the weather and climate, through whom we get to know about the changes in the weather and the climate, the forecast that we see. Okay, also there are private meteorological institutes and organizations that work for the country. So these all organizations and institutes, they will inform the National Disaster Management Authority chairman, that is the Prime Minister. Then the Prime Minister first at national level it has been informed. Simultaneously they also will inform to the State Disaster Management Authority chairman, who is the Chief Minister of the state, the District Disaster Management Authority chairman, the District Collector, we have heard about this post, and then we have Taluka Disaster Management Authority chairman, who will be the Tehsildar. Okay, so first let's see national, state and district. So these organizations will inform all three of them. Also the Prime Minister, who is the chairman at national level of the disaster management, will inform the Chief Minister of that particular state, again who is the chairman of the same. Then he will inform and coordinate with the collector, okay, the district, if the disaster is at a particular district level, okay, and then the taluka. Okay, the Tehsildar or the Taluka Disaster Management Authority, he will be informing the village level committee chairman, that is the Sarpanch, and through them the general public, the common citizens of the country will be made aware. These all are the system that is involved in the actual rescue and rehabilitation work. That is why I said you that even a common individual, common citizen of the country needs to be aware of what precautions, preventions and measures can be taken before and after the disaster, how each individual can help the government and the forces in the rescue operations and the rehabilitation of the victims. But this is how the structure is designed of the Disaster Management Authority, and the control and coordination goes on. We are stopping here for the day. We'll continue with the last part of the lesson next time. Thank you so much, students. Stay safe, stay home, take care. See you soon next time.